Hello, my name is Rafael Seif, and in this technical English video, I'm going to talk to you about the most important quantifiers in English. These are the contents. We will see the function of quantifiers, and then we will see some important quantifiers in groups. Finally, we will see how to ask about quantity. The objectives are to understand the correct meaning and use of these quantifiers, and to know how to ask about quantities. The function of quantifiers that come normally before a noun is to indicate the amount of quantity of something. They can express large, small, undefined, sufficient, or insufficient amounts. Some quantifiers have a similar meaning, but they differ depending on their use with countable or uncountable nouns, which is an important consideration. They are very important words in the world of engineering, science, and technology because they express quantities. It is also possible to use them without a noun when the reference is clear. Let's start with the first group, each, every, and the whole. These expressions are used before singular countable nouns. They refer to the totality of individual things or of a single thing. Each is used for 3 or more things, not for 2. Each is used for 2 or more things, and the whole is used for the total amount or the total number of things in a defined a specific group or set, a team, a week, etc. We can see some examples here. The next group is few, a few, several, both, a large, small number, many or not many. These expressions in turn are used before plural countable nouns to indicate, again, approximate numbers. Both is used for 2 things or people. A few is used for a small number with a positive meaning, and few is used for a small number with negative meaning. Several, a large, small number, many or not many, are used for an indefinite number of individuals from a group. Here we have some examples. It is important to note that a few has a positive meaning. For example, a few problems were solved by the visiting engineers, at least positive meaning, whereas a few has a negative meaning. Unfortunately, few points of agreement were reached yesterday. Then we have little, a large, small amount, much or not much. These expressions are used before uncountable nouns to express approximate quantities. A little is used for a small quantity with positive meaning, and little without the article is used for a small quantity with a negative meaning. A large, small amount, much or not much is used for an indefinite quantity of an uncountable concept or thing. Remember again that little with the article has a positive meaning. I can lend you a little money if you like, whereas without the article, little has a negative meaning. They work very hard, but for little money. The next group would be either, neither, or, any, no, a lot of. Either and neither are used before singular nouns to refer to 2 things or options. We use either with a verb in negative form and neither with a verb in the affirmative form with the same meaning. Or, any, no, or lot of are used before countable and uncountable nouns. All indicate an entire group of quantity. Any is used for questions in negative forms only. No indicates a lack of something, and a lot of indicates a large quantity. Here we have typical examples of the use of these important quantifiers. All, most, some, and none are the next group. All, most, some, and no can be used before the subject or object of a sentence. They can go before plural or uncountable nouns. This is their restriction. When we add the word of, all of, most of, some of, or none of, they are used for particular people or things. Here we have some examples. None of is impossible with singular countable noun. It can be used with plural nouns or uncountable nouns, as we can see in the table. No can be used with singular countable nouns, plural nouns, or uncountable nouns. Here we find some examples. None of and no are used in negative statements with positive verbs. The verbs are in positive forms. We must remember also the importance of the expressions too much or too many, enough or plenty. Too much is used with uncountable nouns and too many with countable nouns only. And they have a negative meaning. They mean more than we want or more than necessary. Not enough is the opposite of too much or too many. It means less than we want. Enough and plenty are used with countable and uncountable nouns. Enough indicates a sufficient quantity, and plenty or plenty of may imply more than a sufficient quantity of any item or thing. Here we have some examples to illustrate it. Then, to ask about quantity, the quantity of something, we use the expressions or the starting how much or how many, depending on whether the noun is countable or uncountable. How many is used with countable nouns. How many panels are there at the front of the building? And how much, remember, must be used only with uncountable nouns. How much steel do we need to manufacture this bar? And to ask about the cost of something, we use the expression how much. How much is the license for this software? In conclusion, the correct use of quantifiers depend on whether the noun is singular, plural, or countable or uncountable. In technical language, quantifiers are very important and sometimes tricky to use, so we must be familiar with their use and meaning. Thank you very much for your attention.